Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here and welcome to DCS World 1.5 and the L39ZA module. Today I'm going to take a look at the Unguided Rockets in the L39ZA. We're carrying UB16 pods, which each contain 16 S5KO rockets, and we're going to deploy them using the bog standard ASP gun sight on the L39. Now this is a slightly different procedure from the kind of more modern aircraft with radar ranging and laser rangefinders and all that sort of jazz. This is very much World War II style-y, looking at the tables in the manual, punching, rolling the settings into the gun sight, matching the entry conditions, and then just hoping that your weapons hit the target. So I'm going to demonstrate exactly how that's done today. So first I'll take you through the setup, just how to actually activate the weapons and get them ready for launch. Now we do that, we start off by looking at the circuit breaker panel here. We want to make sure that the arms switch is turned on. That powers your weapon systems, and you'll see then that you get these green indications showing which pylons are currently in use. So if I look over my shoulder here, yep, I can confirm rocket pods are on the outer pylons, and that's where I'm seeing the green lights. Now these switches control different parts of the weapon system. First I'm going to power on the ASP, which is my gun sight, so I now get a reticle. I'm also going to power the launch circuit for missiles, which is also the same one used by the rockets. The last thing you would normally do when you're kind of approaching the target is turn on the launch switch. That's effectively the master arm. We're already quite close to the target, so I'm going to turn that on now. Next, if we look at the upfront weapons panel here, I'm going to select the outer stations as the ones which will be fired, and then the last thing we have to do here is set the rocket mode selector switch. We've got positions, salvo positions for 2 at a time, all of them, or 4 at a time. I'm going to leave it on 4 at a time for this particular attack. With 16 rockets, that gives us 4 salvos. And then the next thing we're going to do is actually set up the gun sight. We're going to make a 30-degree diving attack with the rockets. So for that, I need a mirror depression angle of 2.5, which I set on the side here. I set my wingspan to 7 meters. And I set my target range, which is a rotary on my HOTAS, to 800 meters, which is the maximum. And you can see it, this window on the bottom of the gun sight moves to show you what you've got it set to. So it's 800 meters, 2.5 on the depression, and 7 meter on the wingspan or target size. With all of those set, the gun sight is ready to use. Also, we make sure that we're in fixed mode, not gyro. There is an option to have a gyro reticle, but we're not going to use that. So this flipper's in the down position, showing fixed. So our conditions for the attack are, we're going to start at 1200 meters and we need to be doing 300 kph. We're going to nose down to about 30 degrees, which I've worked out as a reference on my cockpit. That means the target being about here. You normally approach the target with it at your 11 o'clock or your 1 o'clock. I'm going to do it on my 11 o'clock. And we want to be firing it around about 600 meters above the ground. So we're going to be attacking this bombing circle here today, just as a little practice. So without any further ado, let's unpause the aircraft and get ourselves into position. So as we're approaching the target area, I'm just ensuring my launch switch is on. It is. And then the very last thing is, you'll see here, this trigger can be flipped up into a safe position. I'm just going to make sure it's flipped down so it's ready to fire. At this stage I can fire just with a pull of the trigger, so I need to be careful that I don't do that by accident, because that would be a bad thing. So let's just get ourselves a bit closer. I'm going to climb just a little bit to make sure that I'm at that recommended 1200 meters, and also that brings my speed down just a touch to the recommended 300 kph. Your accuracy is very much dependent upon how you set the aircraft up on the entry, so we need to get this as accurate as possible. So I think that should be approaching about 30 degrees. So I'm going to throttle back and nose the aircraft down. Oh no, that's actually only reading 20 degrees, I got my reference wrong. So let's nose back up again. Get ourselves a little bit closer, and then we're going to nose down again. And we're looking for that magic 30 degrees. There we go, we're on 30 degrees. Just need to stabilize the aircraft. Get on target and fire. One salvo, one more salvo. I'm going to pull out. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so I got ranges of 7 meter, 50 meter, 22 meter, 7 meter, 14 meter. So all of those hit pretty close. That's not too bad. So I'm pulling away. I'm going to make one more pass just to demonstrate that again, because it does all happen very quickly. I'm just climbing away to regain that 1200 meters. And I'll start coming around. Yep, that's my bombing circle over there. I'm going to start coming around in order that we can re-attack as quickly as possible. Just going to throttle it back a touch, because that's us pretty much at altitude again. So, let's attack from the north again. I'm just going to make a slow orbit around. Let's see what we can do. So, my reference position there on the side of the cockpit was actually wrong. I need to let the target disappear under that a bit in order for it to be at the 30 degree position. If you look at the tables in the manual, there are options to do kind of 20 degree launches and things like that as well. So, of course, you could, if you set the gun sight up correctly, quite happily do an attack at 20 degrees as well. Your entry altitude and speed and some of the gun sight settings are going to be a little bit different in that case. Okay, let's bring the aircraft around. I feel like we should be just about in position soon. You guys need to let me know, by the way, how you like the new style. This is going to be recorded in widescreen and I think in 60 FPS if my editing works well. So let me know what you think. I'm hoping that with it being VR and me moving my head around quite a lot, that no one gets ill. So again, give me some feedback on that and let me know what you think. So we're going to enter again, 30 degrees down angle. Get the pipper on target, wait for 600 meters, and then pull the trigger. So that's about now. One salvo, another salvo, and pull away. Well, that was kind of similar. Well, actually, first salvo was bad, second salvo was closer to the mark. I think that's within the realms of good enough. Of course, if you had it just set to fire all of them at once, then you're more likely to hit something. I'm trying to be sparing with my rockets and make multiple passes. In real life, you'd probably just spam the whole lot in one go, and then you're far more likely to actually destroy something. So, that's those two passes complete. I'm just going to pop us back into active pause, and one last time I'll go over the switch setup. So, you're making sure that your arms switch is on, missile switch is on, ASP is on, launch switch is on. You're making sure that on the upfront panel here you've got the correct station selected, either outer or inner. You can deselect stations, by the way, by pressing the little red button below the white button. That pops it back out again. So you can have both selected if you had pods on both, or just one or the other. And then you get your salvo switch here, 2, 4 or auto. And up on the gun sight, for a 30 degree attack I was selecting 2.5 on the mirror, 7 meter on the wingspan, and maximum range on the target distance. And that pretty much concludes that. So, I hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.